GM Adrian. So we're back. We had a little issue yesterday.
Maybe.
Maybe. Excellent point. Shall we double check that? Yep. Okay. I just got a notification that we're live on YouTube. So there's that. If you could check the app, let me check Twitter. And yeah, we should be good, hopefully. We had a little issue yesterday where we were still showing as live to us and that people were watching. And then all of a sudden we kind of realized the chat was very quiet because we weren't live for like the last 30 minutes. And then we hoped, okay, well, maybe it still recorded everything, and it did not. So if you're just watching this whole recording back, you're seeing half of yesterday, and then the rest will be coming from today, and we're repeating mostly what we did yesterday. So that's the plan. We're going to give you guys 40 seconds to get acclimated, get ready, and we'll be back. Welcome to GM Farcaster, bringing you everything from breaking news to spicy memes to the deep lore shaping this vibrant digital community. More than just a show, GM Farcaster is your digital third space where the community connects, the stories unfold, and the culture thrives. Whether you're a daily caster or just dropping by, we've got the latest buzz to keep you plugged in. So grab your coffee and let's dive in with your hosts, Nanish Prof and Adrian, for another episode of GM Farcaster. GM Farcaster. It is Tuesday, June 10th, and you are here with Adrian Nanish Prof for episode 256.5.
It'll be 14 and a half minutes of Farcaster news to start your Tuesday.
That's
because
all we got.
The tech gods hate us. We did something to anger.
We did something to piss somebody off. Oh, it's been a while since they've inflicted their wrath. Except for that one time, but that was me. That wasn't a tech god issue. That was just a me issue, or I disappeared on you. But yeah, we're back, and we're gonna finish up what we started yesterday, and then we'll go from there. We had a great discussion that none of you heard. Not at all.
It was all spicy takes.
All spicy takes, and you missed it. This is like the lost episode with Stephanie and making granola. Kind of similar. All right, let's dive back in. So this is where we left off. We were finishing up channels. We were talking channels.
We really have to do this again.
I know. I'm gonna, just because it was really good. Yeah. We just couldn't do it again yesterday. I could feel it. Like we didn't have it in us. So we're doing it today. But we had just finished talking about Channels Day. So we're going to just leave that there. There wasn't too much left after that. And then we started to dive into this. So this post from Dan, where is Farcaster still centralized? June 2025 edition. Important to call out, our top priority remains user growth. Prematurely solving any of these potential issues below doesn't help user growth in the near term. So not a top priority, may change in the future. 1, most users use the Farcaster app. A nerf on Farcaster app is de facto censorship from the protocol today. This will change as Coinbase Wallet, Zapper, Uno, and other clients come to market. So just to kind of explain that again, when you, again, first time for you all, when, referring to when it was the Warpcast app, if you got nerfed or essentially banned from the app, you're not banned from the protocol. So you're still able to access other apps, although it may not be like your first choice. But so that's still the case. But what he's saying here is because most users use the Farcaster app, aka the Warpcast app, as their primary, that if you are nerfed from there, it's essentially you're nerfed from the protocol. But that's going to change probably very quickly once Coinbase Wallet is on board, and Zapper and Uno. So you're going to have lots of options. Right now, there's just fewer options because the other ones have sort of disappeared at this time. All right. So there's that. Then 2, Snapchain write nodes are run by the Farcaster team and Nanar. In theory, we can collude to censor additional writes to the protocol. Low likelihood, but possible. Way to solve this is the increased number of write nodes, but again, not an issue today. So again, this is kind of a little bit of trust in the team to act judiciously. And then 3, Farcaster channels, metadata and creation are centralized. Content has always been decentralized via FIP2. Creation is not available via API, but metadata is. So making some progress on a plan to move channels to FIP2 without having reliance on the Farcaster app. In other words, right now, channels are just accessible on the Farcaster app in terms of writing to a channel. But you can see, for example, on the Coinbase Wallet app, you can see when a cast is tagged with a particular channel, you can see which channel it's in. You just can't, and you can go, you can't go to the channel itself, is essentially what's missing. And you can't write to that channel. 4, direct casts are run on a centralized server. We have APIs available for everything at this point. Documentation needs to be improved. Eventually move servers to something that feels more like Fname server versus our app backend. Eventually explore decentralization and E2EE. We're competing against Telegram, not Signal. And as I said yesterday, E2EE is what, Adrian?
Tell them.
End-to-end encryption. She told me yesterday.
Yeah, end-to-end encryption.
End-to-end encryption. And on that note, Coinbase Wallet is using XMTP for their chats, so they do have that end-to-end encryption. So you may not see every client wanting the same chat features. Like that may end up being its own thing. So, or non-existent in some particular clients. 5, GitHub repo merge ability is only for people on the Farcaster team. Hasn't been something to solve for since we're doing most of the protocol upgrades. 6, worth pointing out, a big recent improvement to decentralization, auth addresses. This has reduced a dependency on the Farcaster app for sign-in. With Farcaster, there's still work to do on making it easier to choose Farcaster on Coinbase Wallet and others for sign-in with Farcaster flows outside of many apps. All right. So, Adrian, tell me all the brilliant things you said yesterday.
It's a shit. We're going to make this joke all day today because we had incredible conversations, just Prof and I, about this.
It was great.
Look, I'll just say I really appreciate Dan's transparency about launching a new decentralized social protocol because it really is coming from a centralized single team.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably a lot of misperception around what does it mean to be decentralized. So pretty much every time anyone has ever gotten angry at Dan in the past for anything, it's like it points to, well, it's centralized, so therefore I can't have my cake, because it's centralized. And I think from a social media perspective, I guess one of the things I've just been thinking about is you don't know whether something is truly decentralized, or you don't need true decentralization until shit hits the fan. And that will only happen when we're at scale. Like there's no reality where we kind of actually even almost like you can't test the thesis for so long.
Right.
Because I went back and forth with him about where we are. So to me, and I think he's saying, look, you have to solve for growth. Because one of the things he keeps saying is all of this is a science experiment. You don't actually get tons of growth and find product market fit and grow by several orders of magnitude. But to me, as someone, and then I guess what he's saying is no one who, like, you've attracted people who care about decentralization. We're here.
Right.
How are you going to get everyone else? Not by the same story that was told, 5 years ago. So I have a lot of sympathy for that, and I agree with him. But to me, it's actually still important to me.
And I think it's important to, especially those who've been here since very early days. Yeah, I mean that's definitely. But he's right. It's not a selling point to the large majority of people who are on the network, even now.
Right.
like they probably don't even think about it that much.
But if you're watching, you should
yeah,
care.
you should care. Why should
So
they
a
care,
lot of
Adrienne?
you should care. But to me, from a decentralized, like, I don't care if we're not there today. I don't expect us to be there. I'm not upset that there's
Right.
only one client that has the like the entire market share of, like, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's okay. But what's important to me is kind of what is that long-term vision of what does it mean, decentralization? Because when we were going back and forth and we're saying, technically you can do these things today and that's fine, but it's almost like it reminds me of all the different blockchains that come up. They can look like a blockchain because they're open, permissionless, open source. They're, but the decentralization aspect of it, which means, right, like, when you want to make changes, there's not really one single central authority to it.
Right. Right.
It's
And there's
not
a
as
lot of blockchains where
immutable.
that is the case. And like XRP is a great example. Even Solana is pretty centralized in a lot of ways. So yeah, I mean, that's more the standard. That's more the norm than it is. We think that that all blockchains are decentralized, but they're really not. Even
And I think
Base Jesse's talked about the decentralizing of Base as an L2. Like, it is on its way, but it's not fully decentralized either.
right.
For many reasons.
And they behave exactly the same. And you don't even need to know something's decentralized until you decide you want to make a change to it.
Right.
Like, or until someone decides to censor you or
Right.
kick you off. So for social, like, the value of decentralization just comes from the ability to have a more, I would say, just censorship resistant communication platform, social network.
Yeah. And I think that's, and I think, we take for granted our freedom of speech in the US. And I really think, maybe we should rethink that a little bit, taking that for granted, I mean. But a lot of areas in the world, this is an everyday occurrence. Censorship is just part of life. And so I think that that's another piece of this that maybe we don't fully appreciate. But I'm glad that he talked about it. Like, hey, here's sort of the fault lines, if you will, of, like, Nana and us, we could collude. We could, it kind of lays out, here's all the threat points, and just, you're aware, and here's what we're moving towards, but it's going to be a little bit. So yeah, I appreciated the discussion.
And
by the way,
I guess if you're new, right, always like, when we think about what censorship means and kind of the differences, there's a protocol layer. That's where messages live. And then there's application layer and client layer.
right.
And that is where you view your messages. There will always be some level of algorithm or some way for you to filter to see what you're seeing. So you may not see everything, and you may be what they call nerfed on the client level, which means you could be blocked. You could be casting to the protocol and no one can see your content. But that doesn't mean that it's not there. You could build another client. There could be alternative clients. You can always post messages, build your own client or
write to the contract,
send a message from, use the command line. So
command line. Yeah. And I did think that it was really great to see this conversation happening within this thread. So there's a lot of different folks who had some very thoughtful points and questions, and Dan went back and forth with a number of people. So I'd recommend, if this is an interest to you, go take a peek at this thread, because there's a lot of good stuff in here. So Samuel Huber had a lot of good comments as well. So, all right. Related, but a little different. Excuse me. Hold on while I get my Noun coffee, which I'm going to get to that in a little bit. Cup. I had this yesterday and we didn't get a chance to talk about that. I got distracted. So this is also from Dan. If you offer XYZ features, you'll be able to convince people frustrated with insert social platform to move to Farcaster. 1, in most cases on the internet, audience and community are downstream of the platform they are formed on. There are exceptions. 2, migration is an individual act. Individuals try new things and successfully migrate, with very few communities successfully migrate. Usually they fracture or fade. 3, path dependency is real. Just because another network used a tactic at a point in time doesn't mean it's universal. In fact, most of the time it's not replicable, since it was successful in capturing a given cohort that there's no one left to target like that. 4, most consumers are creatures of habit. They get used to a set of tools, networks, experiences, and they stick to them, even if stuff gets way worse. 5, finally, most importantly, do not underestimate the power of network effects. Companies that have them are valuable for that reason. And some of this related is this part, this question: every other social media platform has thrived with no user incentive to post besides an audience. This is from Dan quoting somebody else. How many new at-scale social media platforms in the US in the last 10 years? Only one. TikTok, and they spent 1 billion plus for multiple years on Facebook ads to acquire users. So instead of transferring that value to Meta, why not try to transfer it directly to the users building the network? So that was in regards to why are we paying people to create content instead of other ways to market Farcaster. And to me, this like is a no-brainer. I'd much rather see funds going to creators on this platform than to ads on Facebook or Google or wherever. So, and again, I said,
this was great.
I'm like, wait, I'm repeating myself. No, I'm not. You didn't hear it. The only place where that might make sense is Twitter, and seeing the Farcaster team do it in a more organic way where they've just been more active there, sharing a lot more of what's happening on Farcaster, on Twitter, because that is a clear target market for Farcaster in terms of crypto Twitter. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good discussion. It's interesting. Like, how do you start a social network, and you're starting a new one and you're kind of comparing tactics? And I get it, because I kind of had that feeling of like, you're paying people to post. Is that sustainable?
Right.
Especially when it's coming from, that's kind of coming from venture funds of like, but Dan brings up such good points of like, you can't compare the growth of Farcaster to the growth of Twitter or Facebook
or TikTok.
Instagram.
Right. Yeah.
Well, TikTok you can, because
TikTok's
it's
a little
newer.
different. Actually, yeah, it's newer. Yeah.
And I did not have time to fact check this, but did they spend $1 billion in ads? Like, Farcaster could do that, right? But one of the reasons when we've pestered Dan in the past about why aren't you doing marketing, although they are now, it seems.
Yeah.
The interns going crazy on Twitter. Okay, but is because the platform wasn't mature enough and there was nothing to keep people to stay. So unless you find the thing that's going to keep, like TikTok was different than, it wasn't a clone. It's not a clone of Facebook, Instagram.
It's not a clone of anything.
Twitter.
Yeah.
It was different. So very much like early Farcaster was felt like a Twitter clone. So if you're going to pay all this money to bring people over, why are they going to stay? So
you needed to build the differentiators first, and also just strengthen the infra. Like, because we saw what happened, a little over a year ago when we had this sudden influx because of degen and frames. So this is like January, February 2024. February 2024 is what I'd say is when it really started to crush. And then like we had a lot of downtime, a lot of challenges. So if you don't have that ready for this influx of people, like what would be the point?
Yeah, they're going to come here. Farcaster will crash. Then not only will they leave, they will talk shit on Farcaster, about Farcaster everywhere they have a platform.
Yeah,
everywhere.
So for sure.
Yeah.
So that's
and what's going to
important
happen
to remember as well. Yeah.
And it's still super early. Like, you're going to talk about the days. So we're post permissionless, but you're going to talk about the days of like, remember when there was just one de facto client? Like, remember when you could only post on Farcaster, and that's what Farcaster was that one app. So there's still so much to do. But I think at some point, all of the things we're doing now, which don't seem like a big deal, you're really kind of creating a strong foundation. So Farcaster people will talk about it. The mainstream media will talk about Farcaster as an overnight success.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
And that will be in like 5 years from now.
Yeah.
It'll be like, oh my God, where did this come from? No one ever heard of it. Overnight success.
And just like TikTok, I mean, same kind of thing, right? It was like, oh my God, everybody's, when you're, especially when they were starting to do the whole we're taking TikTok away kind of thing, then it was, you could see how big it was. But it took a long time to get to that point. It wasn't an overnight thing either. And it took a lot of money to get it to that point. It also had a very unique value proposition in the beginning, which I think that Farcaster does have, but not everyone is going to relate to that value proposition or tap into it in terms of the crypto aspects of it. So we're getting there, but I think it's there.
Yeah. And in terms of the paying, right? So the argument is, why are you using a social network? Are you using it to get paid, which Farcaster is leaning into?
Right.
Or are you using it to build an audience and gain influence in the world and status?
But we've seen every time it grows, it's a little bit of somebody's getting paid. And that's what's interesting. And then they stay for other reasons. So we've seen that over again. Even DGen. DGen was that, right? That was just DGen.
And it's funny to critique the get paid, right? So it's like someone's getting paid somewhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere, right? Like someone's getting paid.
If it's not the users, it's going to be a marketer. It's going to be an ad
or
platform.
The platform. So to Dan's point of like, why do you want to give it to the platform or do you want to disperse it around users? Like, sure, take your, I think it's funny when you look at your wallet these days and you just see like tons of microtransactions coming in, and it's very, I like Naomi's modern Robin Hood, take from the VCs, give to the shit posters.
Yes, modern Robin Hood. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Are you actually on a boat? Is what I want to know. Gregarious.
Pixar didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Are you just on the boat behind us? Yeah. So I think that we've talked about this a lot. We'll talk about it more again. It's going to keep coming up. I am in favor of pay the people who are doing the work to grow the network. Is what I think right now. Do I think that's sustainable? No. Is it the only reason people will stay? Absolutely not. Eventually, that is not enough to keep you that active. So there has to be more. But I would much rather see it going into the hands of the people who are doing the work than not.
Totally.
So, yeah.
You can have both things. I think Greg's point, right? I think getting paid is overrated. Agree.
Yeah.
There's countless devs who still need a good social graph. X is unusable for devs now. That's what I found because I was using, it's like, oh, and we had this conversation yesterday, although no one heard it, about how good Farcaster is for developers.
Yeah.
Like at any level. So you can learn, but just especially people who, like just all of the building blocks are there and meeting other devs.
But you cannot have a full network of just devs. So, and the devs are getting paid, by the way. The devs are getting paid. If they create a good mini app, they can earn rewards as well. So to your point, yes, they need a place to do things, but also eventually at the end of that doing things is some kind of payday. Whether it is because they're building an app that people use that has some kind of monetary piece to it, or because they're getting rewards for a mini app that gets opened a lot and gets transactions and helps build the network. So even at the end of that, thinking is somebody's getting paid.
Right. So, I mean, what are we even arguing about? This came from someone's like, you shouldn't market that people like people. I think object to the the marketing of emphasis on paying. But whatever, I don't know, experiment, see what works. But really right now we're saying is like, come to Farcaster, build your network. Cool.
It might be,
also get paid.
Yeah.
Cool. Everyone's happy.
Everyone's happy. What's the problem? Everyone's happy.
But we can fight but we should fight over it.
We should fight over it anyway. It's more fun. All right, moving on. Couple more things that we talked about yesterday. We're getting closer. This from July. Planning next week to start shipping the 3 Faust rock cameras out to some folks for external beta testing. We'll share more soon. So that's exciting. If you're not familiar, we've had July on. This has been this is a bit of a long-term project. So July's been on with us to talk about the rock camera. This is going to be a way to document things that are happening and document them on chain. So Exciting. Looking forward to seeing how the testing goes. It's been really fun to watch July build this in public, for sure. It's been very exciting.
Yes, and congratulations to July on getting kind of this close. I know he's really, these are really the first beta devices. He's expecting bugs and going to slowly ship them out. But for those who haven't been following along, the Rock camera, it's a camera with integrated cryptography, which means every picture you take has a digital signature to it, which means they can't be modified or edited without breaking the signature. So in a world, let's say, where there's a lot of AI generated images and fake things. I mean, I'm on Twitter right now with what's going down in California, that there's nothing, you can't believe anything you see online. Everything is doctored, fake, old.
Or people just showing old footage of things that have nothing to do with what's happening right now. Yeah. That's happening a lot.
So the need, you know, and again, the need for verifiable photography and sort of really kind of anything you're capturing has in the age of AI has never been more important, except it will continue to be. So
yes, for sure. And if watch Mountainhead if you need another view of it. Anyway,
or don't,
we talked about it. Or don't,
or don't. It wasn't that
good. I think you should. It's not that good, but you should still watch it. This from Murtaza, Farcaster reflection. The platform has organic norms of civility, whereas Twitter, for some reason, has become a jungle full of wild apes. But it's not an oppressive civility of the style of Blue Sky. So I just love this point, where like it's yes, there is a civility, but it doesn't feel forced. It feels more like a norm that has been developed, and that like you're not, if you get too crazy, wacky, like I don't know, there's things that happen and people just kind of like, you're going to get ignored if you go beyond the norms. It's not that people are going to come down harsh on you necessarily. It's just that chances are you're not going to get a lot of interaction after that. And I've seen that happen over and over again, where people kind of crash out, and people generally you'll see replies like, bro, chill. Like, just chill. This just happened fairly recently. And then it just kind of goes from there, like where people just go, all right, I'm done. And just move on. Whereas Twitter, it becomes a full-blown, battle to death. So it's a little different. But also I think there's a good point about Blue Sky. I have not spent a lot of time over there. I haven't spent any time over there. I've just read about that. And that it does seem a little bit more that the norms that they're trying to create are more like enforced rather than suggested, where I feel like here it's more suggested.
Yeah.
Rather than enforced at any level. So a little different. And I think that's probably goes back to our conversation back here of you'll have another option, and you'll continue to have another option. Even though the options maybe are not as big and prominent right now, decentralized, but because of that, and because you're not going to be censored, that's probably a bit of a difference as well. All right.
Yeah. Well, I liked the way Murtaza described that. I like the term oppressive civility.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you think of two kind of opposing ends of like kind of toxicity of the jungle full of wild apes on one side and oppressive civility on the other, it's not that Farcaster's not on, like, you want Farcaster not to be on this spectrum at all.
Yeah. Ideally.
It's not like it's like, oh, we're in the middle. No, it's just a separate, like,
it's a whole different animal.
It's a separate axis. And I think it's really important. I mean, this is just codified culture.
Yeah.
There's nothing about Farcaster that makes us any different than Twitter or Blue Sky.
It's a lot of the same people too.
Except it's people who respect, I think there's kind of mutual respect and want to be like, it's okay if we disagree on things.
Yeah. Yeah. Like normal, just normal disagreement is fine and normal, and you can shake hands and move on. Yeah. Hopefully we can keep that as we grow.
The world is too tribal. Plug my children's book, which is about anti-tribalism and coming out later this year.
I can't wait for that. A
I
few
don't know if it's
other
ever going to happen.
a few other fun things happening. Tomorrow we have Farcaster trivia. If you are a regular watcher of GM Farcaster, you're going to do well. So you should definitely play. And we'll also be chatting at one of the questions, not chatting, but one of the questions will definitely be about reserve. So I would go take a look at their account. I'm giving you alpha right now if you're going to play tomorrow. So go take a peek at that and look for more on this later today. Yes.
Question.
Question.
Are the
Answer.
trivia questions harder this week?
I think I need
Have
to
you
make
done 'em
them
yet?
slightly harder. I haven't finished them yet.
Okay.
I felt like maybe they were too easy last week. And I was trying
many
not to
winners.
make them too hard because I wanted it to be fun for everyone, but I might have made them too easy. So
The first time trivia
yeah.
came out, with like I got out in like the second question, and it really angered me. So every time I've
Frustrating.
helped you make questions for Cast Out, I'm like, you got to do the gimmies to let people
Yeah.
feel good, and then it's like
Yeah. I might have just done too many
and then ramp
gimmies.
up too many. Yeah.
I didn't ramp up enough. I didn't have enough ramp. I didn't hockey stick that sucker. So I need to make it a little harder this week, but we'll still have some nice, ease you in kind of things. Honestly, if you're paying attention to everything's coming from the Farcaster timeline or something we talked about on the show, so it's nothing is a big surprise. Not trying to stump you. All right. A few more things. This is so fun. I think this is over now. This was yesterday. Might be 2 hours left. There's just over 24 hours left in our Doodles tournament. To celebrate this weekend, we're adding 3 more games. These won't have cash prizes, but we'll give the top 5 scorers an extra 10,000 Farcade points each. The new tournament games are Dewdrops, Happy Long Legs, and Doopy Deli. These are so fun. So using the Doodles IP in all these Farcade games is so fun. And the tournament had, I think, 6, maybe more games, different games, all Doodles, and it was really fun. The Dewdrops was really cute. This is the one that's like right over on this side here. Really cute, very fun. So yeah, go check out the new Doodles games. They're super fun to play, and they're just adorable to look at. Few other things in mini apps. This is from our friend Mike Doddeth, MYK. The story of how I vibe coded an NFT marketplace mini app, while most of it between yesterday afternoon and today while still touching grass. So very cool, using background agents to create this for the Pro Challenge. So go check that out. But also in NFT marketplace news, JC4P. I hear is the first Farcaster native NFT marketplace mini app. Very rough right now. I don't know who came first, so I can't say which one was first, but very cool to see. Working on bidding support, first buy it now, notification support, and polish. So, or Polish, I'm not sure. Maybe he wants to make it available in Warsaw for the next Farcon. Current featured collection is based dick butts, because of course it is. So go check that out. Very cool to see, especially surprised that OpenSea and Magic Eden haven't added a mini app yet. Seems like a no-brainer and should be fairly straightforward, I would think. But I don't know. At least some version of it. I know OpenSea at one point had a browsing version, but it feels like that's, should be something we could do. And then this from our friend Mikado. Oh my God, it works. Test my stupid mini app. People. And this is really cute. It is the, let me move this over so you can see the whole thing. It is the daily NASA pick of the day, and it did work yesterday. I swear. There we go. This is in Colours and True Color. I don't know what that is, but it's all different picks from NASA, and it loads in the new one each day in this little mini app. So well done, Mikado. I'm proud of you for making your first mini app, and it's very cute. Congrats. Oops, I didn't mean to go there. I meant to go here. Okay. And a couple more fun things. Polymarket to serve as the official prediction market of Elon Musk's X. This is from Decrypt. The two companies struck an agreement to create a podcast, a product. What did I say? Podcast. A product that will explain market moves, combining data from X-Post, event contracts from Polymarket, and XAI's chatbot Grok. So we don't exactly know what this fully looks like. If it's something like you'll be able to place Polymarket bets on X, I don't think so. I think it's like more using the data to help inform what's happening on Polymarket and vice versa, is what I'm taking it as. So thoughts? Polymarket was more active on Farcaster first, is all I want to say about that. So,
yeah.
there you go. There you go. By the way, wrong hat. It needs to be a bucket hat. Clearly, you didn't get the memo. So it should be a bucket hat. All right, couple more things. This from Song a Day Man. Only 4 days until Song a Day 6,000. This was 4 days ago, 6 days ago. So this came out 2 days ago, I think. We're a little behind here. But this, they did, he finally released Song 6,000. I think the auction is over now, but it's been pretty amazing to watch this all come down. And this was about, he did a song about when he made $3 million and ended up with a 1.1 million tax bill. So you can go check this out, and it's really fun. And he goes into the whole story. In the meantime, he also vibe coded a video game. So really fun, a lot of fun things in here. Go check out this thread for all the coolness, and congratulations, Song a Day Man. This from Matthew B. Can someone who is good at budgeting please help me with my monthly expenses? Rent $1,800, food $400, internet $50, phone $70, and noise tips $4,600. And Peachy's suggestion: less avocado toast and lattes will fix everything. Obviously, because that's what fixes everything. At least if you're a millennial. You just get rid of those two things and no problem. But yes, we are spending a bit much on noise tips. So be careful of your budgeting. This, just gonna, this was funny. This is from you.
Settle you didn't even bring this up yesterday.
I know, we didn't get to it. I skipped it. So I'm throwing it up here. Settle a debate. At what age do your late 40s start? I'm going with 47. That is when the late 40s start. But I think you might appreciate Braden Wolf's answer better, which was 40 to 42 is early, 43 is pre-middle, 44 to 46 is middle, 47 is late middle, 48 is pre-late, 49 is late-ish, 49.5, it starts getting late, 49.95 is very late. So I think that you'll appreciate that approach.
Anyway,
we've got a couple more things. Hold on. We're both having birthdays next week. So, just deal with it. We're going to have a little bit of existential crisis, and just, bear with us. That's the way it's going to go. That was Adrian's part. Mine has been a little more subtle. I'm freaking out in the background. Couple more quick things that happened in the past 24 hours. My mom, with her market report, wow, it's up. What happened? So she was referring to Ethereum, by the way. I loved Kyle Patrick's "I got the wrong text. Fix it now." This is why we don't love you. I think this is more of a shit post, but very funny. And what happened was, in case you didn't know, the SEC was posting about the values of DeFi. So there was a crypto task force roundtable yesterday, supposedly the final one, but we'll see. And the new SEC chair was talking about DeFi and how it is, important to innovation and liberty and private property rights and all kinds of really fun things that all point right at Ethereum. So Ethereum started moving and Bitcoin started moving, and I think this was the reason for yesterday's little bump. Let's see where we're at today. I think we may have come down a tad, but we did have a moment. So hopefully it will continue. Oh, no, we're good. We're good. We're up. We're heading in the right direction. All is well. Someone let my mom know. This was funny though. Even though we're up, we're still down. So this is funny from Bold Leonidas. I'm 2K from all-time high. Yay! I'm 2K from all-time high. Hello, in Berkshire. So it's like we're still a stable coin, but at least it's heading in a positive direction. This from Drew Kaufman. Nouns Coffee is open for business. In LA. They opened yesterday. And this is, by the way, the other side of the mug is super cute. I love this mug. It's very cute. So congratulations, Drew and Derek. And hope things are going well. So go check that out.
Yes, if you're in LA, check this out. Take pictures, share with us. I might need to like hop on a plane for a cup of coffee and get there. That's awesome.
I know. It was supposed to be open like last year during FarCon, and it just didn't work. Didn't happen because some things took longer than it should have. But yeah, now they're open. It's very exciting. So congratulations. And then the big news yesterday was for Pro. The NFT is out there. Happy sailing. This is from Miguel Garest.eth. I'm incredibly happy to release this artwork. I really enjoyed working on it, and I'm so proud of the outcome. Thank you, Blockheim and DWR.eth, for the opportunity and for trusting me with this. And it is fan-freaking-tastic. For some people, they said it was sent out and it was not showing in your wallet, me being one of those people. Alina Ferry being another one of those people. And her meme, when you get a Farcaster Pro notif, but there's nothing in your Farplet, by the way. Farplet's going to be a thing, huh? Lies, deception, every day more lies. So, and it was true. You got the notification saying it was there and it just wasn't there. So you had to close out. Always try turning it off, turning it back on.
And turning back on.
Just try that first, because that worked yesterday. This from Anushka, which was so funny. I'm so happy Dan's Mid-Journey subscription expired. Amazing work, Miguel. So,
do you want to explain that joke?
Yeah. So Dan's all of the previous Farcaster NFTs were created by Dan, using Mid-Journey, and I don't know. I think he did a pretty good job for what it was. You know,
they were great. There was
They're
a new
not
NFT celebrating. There was an NFT celebrating protocol releases.
Yes, each release. Yep.
Each one was an animal, starting with the letter A, then B, then C. I thought they were adorable, but people loved to troll Dan and say they were not very good, and also got on Dan for not working with Farcaster artists. It was like, why are you just kind of going the AI route? So this is a funny, there's deep lore in Anushka's joke.
Deep lore. Yeah, deep lore. And the very first one for the A was alpaca. And, you know, that would make a really good trivia question. So I'm just saying. That would make a really good trivia question.
Know your animals.
Know your animals. So there you go. But this is so good. And this from Blockheim, really funny. Merkle team, Farcaster Pro OG NFT holders outside having fun. That is because they didn't get the airdrop. They were not allowed. So, and I understand that, but I think we should make a motion to airdrop one to each of the Merkle team members on behalf of the Pro. I think Blockheim should get one. Come on. Not fair. Yeah. And with that, that's it. That was the last thing. And you can see our backgrounds. Don't they look cute? She went with the one big. I went with the two little, so you could see it a little better.
They were animated.
I know. It's not the same.
Give us
it's not the same without the animation. Yeah. I mean, he really just crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. So good, Miguel. I absolutely love it. He has such a distinct style, too, that you always know when it's him. Like, you can just tell without even knowing. And it's always just a very clean, simple, but cute and interesting design. Yeah, soothing. It's just amazing. I love this. It's so good. So thank you. Great choice. Love the NFT. I'll be holding it in my wallet forever. In my Warplet, not my Farplet. So
people have sold it, I imagine.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I've been tempted to go buy. It was going for 0.135 last time I checked. I was tempted to go buy another one. I probably should have. If I look now and it's worth more, I'm going to be very angry that I didn't. But I thought about it last night, and I probably should have grabbed it. I don't. I thought I had it open. I don't. But yeah, it's adorable. And hey, there was a Dan created NFT that was going for 4 ETH at one point. So let's not knock Midjourney too hard. Wasn't about the art. It was not about the art. But anyway,
it was about the model, I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, it was about the model of the art. Yeah, if you haven't seen the OG NFT, go take a look. And the original one from October 2023, I think it's 2023. Oh, very nice. There we go. Hold on, let me do the wide shot. So we always joke that is Adrian. And I refer to it as Adrian standing at the arch, the gateway to Farcaster, ready to greet and also protect the vibes. Ready to welcome everyone in and protect the vibes at the same time.
They don't look like they're in their late 40s though.
Neither do you. Neither do you, my friend.
That's my point. I'm saying mid 40s, guys. I hate everybody who answered my cast.
The correct answer was mid 40s.
Yeah.
47 is mid 40s, as is 46.
As is 48.
As is 48. Oh boy. Yeah. Hey, I'm turning the age where I officially qualify for senior discounts.
Wow.
So I'm not, you're getting zero sympathy from me. Zero. No sympathy for that. All right, everyone. Yeah. Greg, gregarious. Happy birthday. The president is holding a parade for you. Yeah.
Someday.
Not for me. My birthday's 2 days later, so it's not on my birthday. And I'm gonna be in DC not too long after that. So there you go. I was just thinking that today. I wonder what I'll still see lying around. Anyway, with that, everybody, that's it. Anything else, Adrian? We'll be back tomorrow morning. So
yeah, thank you, StreamYard, for
staying with us. Hopefully,
for staying with us.
We're still on. I hope.
I don't know how we went 45 minutes today. When
I know we should have been 30 at tops. But anyway, we added a couple new things from yesterday, so that was why.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow.
We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, and then noon for Farcaster Trivia in the FC Trivia app, mini app. So make sure you get registered for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, everybody, that's it. Yes, the boat says choo-choo. And with that, everyone, we will see you all tomorrow. So bye-bye.